So originally when making this video, I was going to plan on talking about how my feelings about E-Day and what I'm hoping for. Except I decided to randomly go through my Xbox and saw that there was an open beta download. The original intention was to download the beta so I would become sick on the day of work and spend my entire day being productive on Gears of War E-Day. Except I kind of realized something crazy. They ran a beta from 1 p.m. to 3:30. See, I got myself. And to be very blunt, I was not expecting to play it today, and I am unbelievably happy with what I've seen. So this beta only ran for 2.5 hours, and there was not any communication that this beta was being ran from my intel or anything. So let's talk about it. Now, obviously, I started with the tutorial. The tutorial was kind of weird because this game has a whole new cover system, controls, jumping, which is strange for Gears of War. But what struck me out the most was, well, there's no more roadie running. The roadie run was when your character went like down low in a crouch level and just did a full sprint across like whatever surface you were needing to gain to or cover. And originally I was a little bit disappointed by this. However, I started thinking about it, and the lore, it probably makes sense. I mean, the Covenant... Oh, Jesus. I know I said the Covenant, but I've been playing Halo. That's for another video. The Locusts fight barbaric. They are not human. Well, they are, but, you know, I'll tell my dad about that later. The point is, the Locusts are barbaric in nature. So they're all about getting up close, and no, the humans just got done fighting the Pendulum Wars, which was against humans, which meant that the roadie run wasn't really as needed as it was now. So in this game, they got rid of the roadie run, but replaced it with two actions. You have the jump, and you have the slide. The slide allows you to get through like undercover areas, like these little crouch levels that you can either do a slow walk through, or if you're feeling snazzy and wanting to get some clips for phase, you can do shotguns right through them. Originally, I was off-put by this, but there's something weird. So one of the features they did add was the mantle. So yes, there was mantling in the other games, but this one, you could mantle up walls and shit, and it's awesome. But what made me realize how cool it was when I saw the Locust doing it in front of me. There's something so scary in nature about getting swarmed, and you see a Locust jump up from where you did not expect. And then, once you learn, you have a chainsaw ready for him. It is so weird how much they made it this game where you are getting swarmed by Locusts. It is a numbers game for them. And yes, while you can continue fighting, my first couple of rounds, the first 2 rounds I played, I didn't die, was pretty comfortable, there was a couple close instances. Except, man, my last match had me on my feet. Had me on my toes? I don't know, whatever. The last match really represents what the Locusts are. You're constantly getting swarmed from all angles, and if one soldier goes down, the whole fucking system goes down. And it is awesome. And then we gotta talk about the gore. The gore was great. There was this feeling of futility when, like, you know, you're chainsawing an enemy, but they added this new enemy called the Rager. Oh, bro. The Rager does not give a shit about your, I don't know what caliber it is. They don't give a shit about your guns. They will run up to you, throw you down to the ground, like a drill sergeant does in CQB, and, well, he will start punching the shit out of you. And it is one of the most heart-wrenching, like, futility things when you're hoping that one of your buddies is alive, only to realize that you're the last one in your squad and you're right now getting your shit rocked. I think there's something about it where you can hold on for so long and you're just looking for any sense of help. And then, well, it gets to the finisher. I can't talk about the gore without the finisher executions. Ooh, the executions this time around are crisp. You have your classic head stomp, which is is like a staple for the franchise. You have the Lancer, which the Lancer has a cool new combo against I think the Wretches now. The Wretches, you like saw off the middle and then their head. It's cool looking. I love it. But man, some of these executions are gnarly. The one where the Locust, ends you from, beating the shit out of you is pretty brutal. But in nature, there's something so crazy about some of these executions, and what I hate about this, I wasn't able to get every execution in these small 2.5 hours. But that leaves me excited for the beta on the 6th. Now let's talk about those weapons. Now the weapons, at first, I did not care for, but once I got used to them, I started liking them. The Lancer was the strangest one to me personally. The Lancer in this game, I don't know if it's just a placebo effect, but seeing it a prototype made it feel really different. And technically it's the same thing, but it is really solid as a weapon in this game. The Lancer option on it especially is a trip. The Lancer is really cool to me just due to the fact of the way it works. So essentially in the old Gears of War, if you got shot once, you were out. Then they made it so if you got shot a couple times, you were out. Then they made it so if you started a rev and got shot, you were out. No, in this one, you are full revving and just going for it. And I even saw there's an attachment that makes it so it revs faster, probably making it like the Gears of War 2 Lancer, I imagine. And if I'm talking really fast, it's because I just got done with this beta and oh my god, I just want to play it. I can't tell you how upset I was when I got done with the match and it said, alright, beta's over. Dude, I was... oh. Now, I have to give props. My favorite weapon in Gears of War history was the Retro Lancer, and it does its job wonderful here. It is still a feasible fucking weapon, and especially with the right perks, more on that later. With the right perks, it is awesome. In the bayonet, you can actually like turn corners with the bayonet. You can get some crazy flings. Now, I did have issues with the shotgun. The shotgun kind of have a delayed effect, and I'm guessing that's just due to the servers being swarmed, that like bullets kind of felt like they weren't hitting immediately as they should, but that's perfectly fine. Now, the most memorable weapon for me in this beta was actually this acid shotgun. This acid shotgun is awesome. It is so unbelievably good. After a short charge up, it sprays acid on the opponent, and usually it's one hit, and if it doesn't one hit, the acid kills them afterwards. And because the Locusts are barbaric in nature, it works as an axe too, meaning that any wretches that get close, you can just slice them up and easy. But I also have to give props to the launch shot. The launch shot in this game feels good. And with the Locust having this such huge firefight, if you have one buddy down there, there's these moments where you can just provide Overwatch and even potentially save a teammate, if you hit your shot, of course. Now, the mode I personally played the most, the only mode that I'm probably going to be playing in the beta, unless there's challenges for versus, was Horde. And this Horde rendition is awesome. Essentially, it deals with 3 squads entering a area, a map, and each one has their own objectives, but each squad has a set of mission objectives that maybe they can work together. That's one thing I was a little bit disappointed about, is that there wasn't very moments where the squads actually made contact with each other. Yes, I know each squad is doing their own thing, but I kind of wish there was more of these moments where they're all working together, coordinating, but no. Now, yes, the squad can run a flank element, and it's fucking awesome, but let's talk about the map itself. When you start out, you have the ability to go to side objectives, and what these side objectives do is they give you power, which can allow you to buy ammo, stuff like that. But the big one is the perks. Each squad, there is Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. I know they're different names in the game, but whatever. Essentially, each squad can get their own perks. My favorite perks that I ran into were the recoil reduction, the critical hit modifier. In my first game, there was a modifier that we got where it was just, if you go down, you can pull the pin on yourself. Which I was like, that's a benefit? Okay, cool, I guess. I'm excited to see what other modifiers they bring out. I did see a damage increase, I saw a couple other ones, so I am excited. And the perks aren't the only things. One of the biggest things about this game is it seems to have a smaller weapon selection, but to make up for it, it has the craziest weapon customization, well, I can say of all of Gears, because in the previous Gears you really couldn't customize weapons. For example, one thing I wanted to grab is the Gnasher has a fucking bayonet you can get, which is awesome. Meaning it has the Retro Lancer capability, but to pursue with the shotgun afterwards, or vice versa. One thing I noticed is that they changed the active ammo system, where you can customize how your active ammo works. I saw the Lancer had like incendiary rounds, but like the Bren, I'm gonna call it the Bren, is a top-fed Locust machine gun. When you do the active reload, it fires both barrels instead of just one. Oh shit, I forgot about the heavy weapon. Okay, we gotta talk about those. The heavy weapons in this game are a trip. I got to use 3 of them. I got to use the Troika with the shield, which was cool. Classic machine gun. I got to use a heavy boom shot, which is just the boom shot but bigger, hence the name. But the coolest one to me was the flare. The flare is a harpoon launching weapon. What it does is it can kind of pull people out of cover, but the biggest part is it has 2 hits. It hits and then it pulls back flesh. And dude, this thing is addictive to use. Oh my god. Especially hitting a wretch with it too is hilarious. Now earlier I was talking about attachments, and the attachments, there is so fucking many. But here's the bigger part. Your class can have customization now. Unfortunately for this beta, I only had time to get my assault class to I think level 5. And not even just that, I only played the assault class, which is all oriented around kind of that close to medium range and keeping up the pressure on the enemy. There is armor customization, making it so you can kind of help yourself out. The one I got was you take reduced damage when you're in cover, which you will want. But the cool part is you can upgrade your ability. For the assault in this case, it was a stun drone that kind of suppressed a spot for a while. It can hold back people, which is super good. It's a great get out of jail free card. But you could customize it in ways to make it different in other ways. There was a customization where you can make it a landmine, so instead of just it activating immediately, you could just set it up and then kind of wait for enemies to go there. Now, I want to talk about the firefights themselves. The firefights are really fucking good. The amount of enemies is stupidly crazy. There's a lot of situations where I just felt overwhelmed, which is pretty realistic for Gears of War E-Day. I mean, Emergence Day, it was all numbers. Don't get me wrong, the COG did pretty solid at trying to reduce casualties, but the problem is there's so many enemies that it was just impossible. And to get myself better immersed, I decided to play as the normal COG soldier, and dude, some of the lines are great. The voice lines have always been an iconic part of Gears of War history. There's always the brutal lines like, I love, oh, why are you crawling away? I wanna hang. Gears of War 3 in particular is my personal favorite, but in this Gears of War, because it's the start of this war and this introduction to this enemy, my favorite voice line was the reaction to the Lancer. If you did not know, the Lancer did not exist before E-Day because it was the Retro Lancer, the one with the bayonet. But they found out that, holy shit, Locust Hide is kind of hard to go through. So they decided to make it so it had a chainsaw instead. They lowered the caliber size so it does less damage but better suppression. Essentially, these soldiers are getting their hands what literally is called in the game the prototype Lancer. And holy shit, some of these lines they say, my favorite was, oh, that was smooth. Like the surprise of how well something works, or the enjoyment of how brutal something is. And what's disturbing to me in nature about it is, I mean, this war is gonna go on for a long time. I think the fact that the E-Day is gonna go for a long time, like the idea that these soldiers don't know how long this war is gonna last, nor if they're gonna see the end of the war, is kind of a cool realization for me. HVT enemies or bosses are a big one too. In general, some of the new enemies we've seen, being the Rager, the guy that runs up to you and throws you down to the ground, he's the most scary of all of them. But there's like a frog creature that spits acid, that one was noticeable, really tanky. There's a flying, I think it's called a Watcher, and you have to shoot its eyes. Strange even for the Locust army. But easily the biggest one was the Corpser. I only got one interaction with it, and we got our asses handed to us. We were trying to work on exfil, more on that later. But the part about the corpse is you have to shoot it to where it goes down back in the hole, then you have to throw these Heartbreach charges that are found around its area. It's a tough boss, and I wish I had more chances to get engagements and get more footage, but unfortunately we just did not get lucky with the 2.5 hours. Now let's say that your squad completes all your mission objectives somehow, and look at that, you only have one death, good job. You have the ability to go to exfil. Now each squad I think exfils at the same time in different LZs. I'm not sure how that fully works, I hope I'll get more ideas of it behind it. But essentially you then have to secure the exfil zone, then you have to call up a 9 line. I'm joking, I bet my dad's gonna chuckle at that, just let him. But now, then you have to hold the exfil zone from multiple angles, but then you have to get on the helicopter, and instead of just it being the end, sometimes you have a buddy that's running away from grubs that got a little bit far from the exfil. The people inside the helicopter can hop on the machine guns and provide cover for their buddies, which is fucking awesome. I think that's the biggest thing I want to say about this game is the immersion is great. There's always this male fantasy about, you know, dying fighting in the middle of the battlefield and covering your buddies, or just fighting until you can't anymore. This game makes that feeling perfect, with the amount of enemies, the way that some of them just push straight up to you without any fucking idea of cover. There's something so barbaric and futile, but trying to fight against it is just awesome. And I can't wait to see more from the beta, because goddamn, I'm going to be playing that all day. There is so much more I want to talk about, and I'm already looking at like 16 minutes of narration. But honestly, I just have so much, it's so unorganized, but I just want to geek out while it's fresh. Because literally the beta got done 30 minutes ago. I hope to see you guys during the beta, and I'm going to be mainly sticking to Horde. Maybe I'll do some verses, but Horde's my personal cup of tea. There's so much more I want to see, there's so much more I want to do, I want to try the other classes. Honestly, I'm just unbelievably hyped, and I can't wait to see you guys there. Take care.